You're live.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to our information session on the role of the trustee. I'm Chair of the Board, Chair of the Lakehead District School Board, Leah Vanderway, and I'm going to let the ones that are present with me introduce themselves before we begin.
I am Pat Johansson, a trustee with the Lakehead District School Board Public.
I am Danica LeBlanc, the Vice Chair of Lakehead District School Board.
Hi, Ellen Chambers, Trustee.
And online we also have Trustees George Saranen and Trustee Ron Oikinen and Director of Education Sherilyn Kerr. And welcome everybody. Just a little bit of background about this presentation. In October, we have what we call the Governance Week across Ontario. And so we send out notice to our elementary and secondary schools that if they would like us to come in and speak about the role of the trustee, that we're willing to do that. This role actually is part of the politics role within grade 5 social studies and grade 10 civics and citizenship. This past October, we did presentations to 2 classes in Algonquin School. We did Algonquin Avenue. We did Valley Central School, Vance Chapman School. We also did Westgate and Superior for grade 10. So just wanted to give you a little bit of that background. Before we begin, we're going to have Vice Chair LeBlanc read the land acknowledgement.
Everyone. Lakehead District School Board is located on the traditional territory of the Ojibwe people of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850. We acknowledge all of the First Nations, Métis and Inuit who reside in this territory and across our nation. We are committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect for all Canadians.
Thank you, Vice Chair LeBlanc. I'm now going to pass it over to Trustee Chambers, who is our Chair of our Communications Committee.
Thank you, Leah, and thank everybody for being here. Yes, well, what we have is a slideshow that I will speak to. And if you have any questions, feel free to put up your hand through Teams. There's a little hand at the top or the bottom of your screen that you can use. And we will stop. And I think it's best to ask your questions at the time. It makes more sense. So, oh yes, and the handout that we've prepared will also be.
No, can put it in the chat because we have a mixed chat that people in and out. You can't drop files in there, so with email them afterwards.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So just email them afterwards.
All right, we do have a handout that we have prepared on the role of the trustee, and we can email that out to you. Okay, so you may see my hand go up every now and then just to signal to our extremely proficient tech man to let him know when you're going to change the screen. Works better that way than if I'm doing it. And just to let you know that we do a slightly different version of this for the children when we go into the classrooms. We've done that for several years, and you know, this has been modified for tonight, more specific to what we're talking about. So there we are, the role of the trustee. And here you see that at Lakehead District School Board, we have 9 publicly elected trustees, and we have, well, 8 are elected through the municipal election, and 1, the Indigenous trustee, is appointed by Indigenous First Nations to sit with us, and then we have 2 student trustees. So here we are, this is really important, that we are part of a democratic heritage, and we are the oldest form of elected representation. I can't remember the year, it's 1807, there it is. And that's quite significant to know that actually trustees were the first elected officials in Upper Canada at that time and have been here since that time representing local citizens. And we are governed by the Education Act and the Municipal Elections Act, and both are laws and rules that we follow. There's a door, and I know it's going to open, and we're going to find out who's behind that door. So,
The Ontario Public School Boards Association gives voice to the students, school boards, families, and communities that make up one of the best education systems in the world. It's not just the high levels of academic performance that make Ontario stand out. It's making sure these outcomes are not just accessible for some, but for all. Trustees and the local school boards they represent make that happen. We advocate for a system that combines excellence and equity, the academic and the creative, the passionate and the practical. We support the arts and sports programs, cooperative experiences, innovation and technology, funding to help meet students where they are. We champion mental health and well-being in schools, promoting environments that are welcoming, inclusive, and equitable, ensuring every student can reach their full potential, no matter who they are or where they come from. But what does it mean to be a trustee? It means making policy decisions that affect all students. It means focusing on both the long term and each student as an individual. It means making great things happen for every child that steps through the doors of each and every school in Ontario. We do all of this by reaching out and listening across the entire education system. Whether that's a conversation on the playground or at Queen's Park, we are there. On the street, in the grocery store, at the hockey arenas and soccer fields, and in the boardroom. We bring transparency and accountability to the communities and families we serve. Trustees advocate for the connection between effective public education and the future, not just for the economy, but for the social fabric of the province and beyond. This is the work of community cohesion and nation building. Ontario's public education system, something we can all be proud of.
there we go, thank you. That's a really good précis of what we do. I'll get into it more about what policies we may look at, but I'd just like you to know that one thing that was very key in there, you saw a lot of children. When trustees sit around the table and make decisions, uppermost in our minds is always the decision has to be based on what is best for the student population. So, and to point out that we are the only elected officials in the province who specifically make decisions on behalf of children solely. So I can, and oops, maybe you want to go back to that one. We are definitely advocates for public education. You may see us at your schools. You'll see us at events that we may be invited to or go to. As said before, our focus is student achievement and well-being, and we do bring concerns of parents and students to the attention of the district school board. So I'll move on, thanks. A really integral, important position that we hire is the Director of Education. And the Director of Education is considered the Board of Trustees employee, and we do yearly complete an evaluation of the Director of Education. And is it biannually? Every second year we have there is an evaluation of the Director of Education that includes public input and state and also from across the whole school board. So it's a very transparent and open and accountable process. Why are trustees important? Well, we think we're important. And this is one of the real reasons. We're local and we're democratically elected. We have to communicate, solve problems that come our way, And we are advocates for public education. And as I said before, we're the only elected officials whose direct responsibility is for the education of our children. And so specifically, that's what we focus on. So what do? We are here to support you, particularly parents, of course. Parents are all of our phone numbers or emails are on the board website. And throughout the year, trustees receive emails, sometimes phone calls, about problems that parents may have regarding their children. And our job is to ensure that the Director of Education gets that information, and then the Director can look into it. And who are the people in our school board? Well, you're part of it, obviously, the people who have come here today, students and parents like you on school councils, trustees, teachers, the education workers, and all of the supervisory officers and principals. And then, of course, the person at the top is the Director of Education who looks after the system, and the other person is the chair of the board who sits right to the left. So they work very close together, and then, of course, staff at the board office. So I think that most of you here are very familiar, but it's also really interesting to know how we all work together. Types of trustees. So you can see there's a lot of different faces up there. Trustees are elected every 4 years during a municipal election, and we represent 31 public English school boards across the province. And then the next person to decide next is an Indigenous trustee who's appointed to the board by their First Nation, and more than half of Ontario's English public school boards have Indigenous trustees. And then we have student trustees, and here's our 2 student trustees smiling away at us, and they are from secondary schools, and they are chosen by their peers to come forward. And we have an Indigenous student trustee and a student trustee from another class. And then we do have other school boards within the province, none here in Thunder Bay, but hospital boards and school authority trustees were appointed by the Ministry of Education. So some of those schools are in Southern Ontario. Yeah. So we are responsible for student achievement and well-being and ensuring effective stewardship of the board's resources and delivering effective and appropriate education programs for students. And there's various ways that we go about this. Oh, that's the end? That's the end. So I'm gonna, if you want to leave it at that one, it's kind of helpful for me to look at it. The second last one. Sort of frame. So there we are. So student achievement and well-being. That is achieved every 3 to 5 years. There will be a new strategic plan that's created, and trustees are responsible for that strategic plan. We don't create it on our own, obviously. It's created with staff and often consultation with principals, teachers, and education workers, and union representatives, and of course community input. And that we do have a new strategic plan, and what happens is at our board meetings we get reports, and all of the reports are tied to our strategic plan, and have those reports that come through, could be on language, could be mathematics, could be other things. Is it tied to what we have in the strategic plan and what the Director of Education has set out as goals and how to operationalize all those things? So that's our job, to look through that as a group and ask questions, and that is all public. You can come to a school board meeting, or you can come like this through Teams or through YouTube. YouTube, and you can watch and see that we have accountability and transparency. And so that also ties, of course, the strategic plan to delivering effective and appropriate education programs for the students. So it is a big job, and we work at it monthly at meetings. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, with the new strategic plan, we have 3 areas, right, that we focus on: succeed, belong, and reconciliation. So I think that's an important part. So I'm going to ask Trustee Chambers to talk a little bit about the Indigenous framework we have attached to that strategic plan, if she doesn't mind.
Well, I don't mind. I wish I brought it, but
Yeah.
I do have it at home on my desk. I printed it several times. But it's a very important document, and we do have the Indigenous learning framework that is specific to Indigenous learning within our board, and I have to say it is unique. Not every school board in the province or in Canada has a specific Indigenous framework, and it looks at we do have a committee called Nina Waywanon who provides advice and direction as to what would serve Indigenous and non-Indigenous students best as we move forward in reconciliation. And some of those programs are programs that trustees specifically approve of in some of our meetings and through our budget. So we have special programs within our high school, KZ Lodge, and one day I'm going to learn how to say what KZ stands for. Very long Indigenous thing. But we do have special, those in 2 of our high schools, soon to be 3 of our high school, where Indigenous students learn land-based learning, and it is a program that is very helpful to students who may be coming from far north reserves. And so that's one of the things we do. Intervene when you wish.
Again. The other piece that we, trustees are also on a variety of committees. And so one of the committees it's a statutory committee, it's actually mandated to be on as well, is the Special Education Advisory Council. So we have that within our school board, and it meets once a month, and it's about making sure that our students with special needs are all of their needs are being addressed, and it's a committee that has partnerships in it. So the partners, for example, Children's Center, or I love when I draw a blank. Yeah, Autism Ontario. So all of those pieces are part of that as well. So it's always having the opportunity as trustees to be on different committees to listen to what is happening and to know some of that information, especially when we have to come to the board table and make some decisions. So that's part of the reason why we are on a variety of different committees.
Thank you very much, Leah. Just I'm going to maybe bounce around here. When we talk about some of those programs that we mentioned, one particular thing that we approve things through the budget. Now,
when you speak to this camera here.
Oh.
It's just a little bit easier, so that way you're looking directly here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We just got a direction from our tech person. Makes it better. Okay, look at the camera. So one of the things we do through budget is approve programs, special programs that maybe only the Lakehead District School Board has. I'm sure you're familiar with one, which is Kingfisher. And your children will have gone to Kingfisher for sure in grade 1, in grade 3, in grades, I think is it 7, 8 now, that they have the overnight, the two nights at Kingfisher. And throughout their career, yes, throughout their career, they're going to Kingfisher Lake, which is unique in this province. And so that is something that trustees ensure through the budget process that we keep that. And things like that, that's a very local thing. And just one of our last meetings, we had a presentation here about our culinary program for our grade 7 and 8 students. That's also unique. It's a unique program that we also ensure through our decision making that state. Another question?
From Director Farron.
The link.
That there's a link to the strategic plan to this education framework in the chat.
Oh, how nice, thank you. So that was to okay. Okay, so in the chat, the Director of Education, Sherilyn Farron, has attached our strategic plan and a link to it, obviously, and attached to that is our Indigenous Learning Framework. And that is really our guide. That is the guide for where the direction of the board is going. Every year there is an operational plan that the trustees don't make. Obviously, we don't have the skills, it is the staff, superintendents and the director and administration and then teachers and education workers all make it happen with the students in our schools. Go ahead, Linda. Yep.
I just wanted to mention one other program that's very important that we've worked with the board, with the staff and superintendents and directors around the cafeteria program. So we've changed the model of the cafeteria program and it's become very student oriented. And if you have children in high school, you may or may not have heard about it, but the partnership with Foods to Harvest, so we're providing fresh, healthy food for students. And that's just another example of how we're able to work with everyone to make it better, put things in place that for the betterment of the students in our board. And another thing I'd like to mention is that the fact that we're local is very important because we know the city, we know the students, we know the schools, we're familiar with the schools, we visit the schools often, we have a good understanding, we're here if people need us. And so I just want to bring that to light because, knowing that we're local people that are here that can support families and students is important.
I know it was in the slide presentation, and I'm just going to jump off what Danica said because we're local, we also know the situations that we need to advocate on because that's the other role trustees play is the advocacy role. So you'll know that in the past year we've advocated for transportation because of the change to distances that is now across the province. And as you know, if you've been born and raised in Northwestern Ontario like myself, we're very different from Southern Ontario. So those distances are of concern, especially during the cold winter months, particularly, and it's so dark here at that time. The other piece that goes with that is the special education. So some of the funding for special education we've advocated for. So that's, means writing letters and talking to people. And so I just wanted to add that too as well, because that's a local piece that we want to make sure that we're always a voice to the ministry. And meeting with, we've met with different politicians as well, just to get it out there that we are concerned. So I just thought I'd throw that in.
Thanks, Leah and Danica. And to add to that, trustees have had many letters, we've written many letters to the Minister of Education about various things, particularly transportation. And I have to say, I thought of it this last little while. I was in a car with a friend saying, children have to walk, you can't even see them on the sidewalks right now. And so that's something that we've been very vocal about. We're not alone in that across the province. And it started off that slideshow with OPSBA, which is the Ontario Public School Board Association, which is all of the trustees for public school boards across the province. That's our association. And it's an excellent one that they advocate directly to the Minister of Education at OBSPA. They also have, that's the acronym that we call ourselves by, OBSPA. We do have an Indigenous Trustee Council, and that Indigenous Trustee Council is made up of Indigenous trustees across the province, and they too advocate for Indigenous education across the province. So there's lots that we do locally and provincially. On this little handout that we have here, it says we do set policy, and I'm going to say that Lakehead District School Board trustees worked very hard over the last year and a bit more than that. We do professional development of ourselves as well, so that we understand the issues in education, and we understand education. We get lots of help with that from our association, and we in particular did a great deal of work on understanding governance. Now, governance is something that it's a great word, but it's also an action. Like, how do we keep ourselves within where we belong? Like, we don't tell schools, oh yes, we'd really like you to have this program in your school. That's not us. That's not our job. But we certainly get the programs and know what's going on through our strategic plan and the reports that come to us. So we do approve policy, but the policies we approve are ones that deal with governance specifically. Can anybody give some examples? That's a tough question. We did just approve a government policy. I do know that one. I mean, we approve in official ways through motions and approvals of the motions in our public school board meetings. And once it's approved, we all agree, whether or not we may have said yes or no to it, but we speak as one voice when that's done.
And on the board website, regularly, there will be input from constituents. So the policies that we're going to be looking at will be posted. So if you're interested and you're part of a school council, don't hesitate to, I know most of them. Don't hesitate to ask your principal what's up next, what are some of the policies that we're looking at, because you're more than welcome to give feedback on those.
Yep. Is there anything I've missed here? Anybody around the table? Yeah. If you have any questions at all, there's, as you can see, there's a few of us here, but one of us will be able to answer it for sure. Or maybe all of us. I bet all of us. So if you have any questions, you can put up your hand, or you can even type it into the chat. Or any comments.
Or if they think it's something.
Yeah, if you think of something, if you want to take this back to your school councils and friends and the hockey rink, as they mentioned, please do. Anybody online want to add anything? No, I see a shaking head from Trustee Saarinen and Trustee Oikkanen. Trustee Oikkanen is that's good. He is our most experienced trustee.
I have trouble. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting a double echo or something. I've had a very hard time. Oh, not everyone is having a hard time following you.
You know, it's a bit garbled.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
The only other thing
Did you have a hard time hearing, Ron? Is that what you're saying?
wasn't coming through clearly.
Oh, that's terrible. Because you weren't coming
I
through
don't know how
clearly.
George is, but
That's why.
Oh.
I
I'm
just
so
eliminated
sorry.
them.
Do you four ladies come to the school event that we do in the written check?
Oh.
Yes. We have to be invited?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a question. I'll read it. do you four ladies, or more of us, come to the school to present what you do and what your role is yourselves, or is another representative of the trustees come? So you're asking if we can come. Yes, we can come as an invitation, but it has to go through the director's office. And yeah, first through the principal, then to the director's office, and to the trustees, secretary, Kelly.
Yes, and it is trustees that come and do the presentation as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And we'd be happy to.
Yeah.
And we can do it too for the kids, absolutely. And we have, yeah. Actually, that's lots of fun. Yeah, or to your school councils, yeah. No, and we'd be happy to do that.
I personally love getting invitations to go to schools.
Yeah, we do. It's the best part. It is
It
actually
is.
the best part of our job is going into the schools, or when the kids come here and see us. We can't stop smiling. Trustee Saarinen, George?
Thank you, folks. I agree with Trustee Johansson. Yes, the best part is going into the schools and getting all those great questions from the students and the graduations. It's all good. But a question I have is, we at this moment, we don't know what our future is going to hold for us. And the elections are going to be coming up this fall. Does anyone have an idea of when we will know anything? It's not a loaded question, it's an honest question.
No. We just came here to talk about the role, George.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's okay. That is a reality out there. But we're very, well, we just thought we should talk about what we do, because sometimes it can be a mystery until you have a question for a trustee, right?
I just wanted to add to, like, over the years, we've been talking to grade 5 students, usually grade 4, 5, or 5, 6 split classes. And then this past year to grade 10. And it's funny because it was when we decided to do this information session for school councils that we realized that was the group we should have been doing this whole time. I think it was actually Trustee Wimmergons that said that. Why haven't we been doing that all along? So we apologize for, apologize for coming in late, but yes, so we are here.
That's correct. But yeah, we'd be happy to. No, you can tell that we all like what we're doing. We're here for a reason. I can honestly say, with the trustees around our table, that every person here is very serious about what they do. That we're not here for any other reason except that we love education and we love schools and how important they are. Like, schools are one of the most important institutions in our whole society. Without schools and children and education, well, we wouldn't be going forward. So that's it.
I also wanted to add, it's lots of fun too when you do the governance week and you go into the elementary schools and to the high schools, especially when the student trustees come with you, because they add a different dimension to it. So I know that I had Indigenous student trustee Jenna with me and student trustee Bruce as well at Superior, and it was fun to watch them because they did some of the presentations. So that was it was good for them to be able to do that in grade 10 civics, because the other students had a chance to ask them then some questions about why they chose to become a student trustee. So that was kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the wonderful things about the trustee table, is that we do have student trustees who sit on the table. They can participate, ask questions. I can tell you that student trustees have had impact on, particularly I can remember with the Indigenous learning framework. There was a question that was asked, why don't we have, we talk about belonging. Belonging has become one of our 3 primary pillars in our strategic plan. So it's really important that we have students sitting with us And I can tell you, we learn a lot from them when they speak to us. And the things that they do in the schools, any questions, we just go ready at the time. Because these kids are really, really an integral part of our table. So is there anything else anybody would like to say? If you want us to come, you can tell anybody that go through your principal and go through the director's office through Kelly. And one or a few of us, whoever can make it. We do have trustees who may not have as much available time as others, but it doesn't matter. We're all as a whole. So that's good too.
Another question.
Oh, we have another question? Well, that's a good question. We kind of like to say we're volunteer paid. Yeah, we get an honorarium. Honorariums across the province are geared to the number of students in your school board. So it varies. So obviously, if you're in Toronto School Board, you would get more ostensibly because I guess you have more things to do. But it's not. No. This is not a living wage. This is an honorarium. It's not much. No. There's more if you're a vice chair and chair, obviously, because you have more responsibility and a little bit more work to do. But thank you for saying that. Thank you. This has been fun. What has been? I mean, only 4 of us could show up tonight in person and 2 online, but actually it's been great fun. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I guess, and you're free to go. So good night whenever you wish.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Um,
Night, everybody.
Bye.